of all, for those of you that don't know, my name is Donna Sustaire, and I'm super happy to be here tonight with everybody. Thanks for taking the time out of your day for Mix It Up Monday. It's always nice to see new faces and reoccurring as well. And I'll tell you, if you are on my team, I did a live. I don't know, it's probably been a couple of months ago, and it was kind of over sponsoring. So I'm actually using the same notes that I used that night. So some of this might sound like repeat. And I got to tell you this, I get out of breath really easy. So I'm probably going to have to take a couple breaks. I still haven't got that part back yet. I'm like, I get so short winded now. But so some of this might sound like repeats from before, but I feel like with the topic, it's sponsoring. So that could really look a lot of different ways and it could go a million different directions. And so basically, what I just want to touch base with everybody tonight is I guess a little bit of how to sponsor, who to sponsor more than anything, and why are you not sponsoring? I feel like I was really excited when this came up. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do sponsoring. And I feel like it's not really my strong suit, but I do sponsor a lot of people. I will earn the annual mentor. This will be my third year in a row, and I'm just looking at my year in reviews over here, and I'm going to read that out to you. And I'm going to tell you, this is not to brag by any means. I just feel like if I'm gonna talk to you about a subject, it needs to be something that I'm adamant with, passionate about, and I want you to know that. But in my 2019 year in review, I had 41 personal recruits. And then in 2020, this last year, I had 24, which you can tell that's down a lot. But it's something that I feel like you're never going to be really, I wouldn't say awesome at it. It's still is a struggle. It's not something that I feel like you ever get over being nervous about, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So even after sponsoring that many people, it's still something that I get a little bit nervous about. And I finally decided, the best way I know to go about sponsoring is to really keep it simple. And so I have, like I said, I have some notes here that I had used when I did this a couple months ago. And so I'm going to come off that again. But a couple years ago, I was driving to the airport in Dallas to go to a Cincy event. And I don't remember what it was. I was flying somewhere. That's kind of cool to say when you can't even remember how many times you've flown and gone places with Cincy. So that was cool. But I was driving down interstate, and I spend that time when I'm driving, and especially like when I'm making deliveries. I don't have children that go with me. If I did, they probably would be like, Mom, I'm not listening to this junk. But I'm always by myself. So I'm always listening to different trainings. And I was on a training. I don't remember what it was, but it was Shonda Clayton. She's a superstar director out of Mississippi. And she was doing a training over how to change your mindset into sponsoring being a blessing and not a burden. And that training has stuck with me. It's been 2 or 3 years now, and that training has stuck with me. And I can still remember the words coming out of her mouth. And I was sitting there thinking, as I was driving, I was like, holy cow, she's so right.
Are you serious, Mom?
Thank you. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, holy cow, she's so right. And so that training has stuck with me throughout these years on sponsoring. And the thing about it is we have to check our mindset. Even though that text might be nervous or that phone call might still make you nervous, when you finally realize as a business owner that sharing Cincy is a blessing and not a burden to someone, it will completely change your business and the way that you look at sponsoring. One of the things I always learned, and I'm going to tell this story, and you've probably already heard me say it again before, but I'm going to repeat it. So I have a neighbor that literally lives like 3 houses away from me. She was a customer, and she had placed an order, and she sent me a text one day, and she's like, hey, I guess I'll go ahead and get that Cincy from you. And I thought, well, that was kind of weird. Why would she say that to me? And I was like, okay, yeah, like you've already paid for it. Why would you not want it? And she said, well, I'm a Cincy consultant now. And I felt like I'd been stabbed in the heart, right? I'm sure it's probably happened to you. And since then, it's happened multiple times. People have joined under someone else, but most of the time it's been somebody on my team. So I was like, I'm good with that. Like, as long as it's still in our group, right? I'm okay with it. It still stings a little bit, but I was thinking, I was looking at my text and she said, I joined, I'm a consultant now. And I felt like I was stabbed in the heart. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I had no idea you were interested in the opportunity. And she said, you never asked me if I wanted to join your team. I was like, and this was about the time that training had come around, and I was like, oh my God, she is right. And I know Dina's on the call. She knows I worked with her trying to get her to join forever. But that stuck with me, and I will never forget the way I felt when she texted me that and said, you never asked me. Now you're gonna come across different people throughout your Cincy journey that you won't ask. You'll never ask. Myself, no one ever asked me. I joined on a whim, got on my website. I joined from one of my many consultants because at the time when I was interested in joining, I didn't have anybody that was what I would consider like myself a Cincy lifer. I just would try to order from somebody that was going to be placing an order in the next couple of weeks, and then it'd probably be another couple of weeks before I could even get my order from them. Like there was no one, I didn't have a steady consultant is what I'm trying to say. So, but that text and that training literally changed the way that I look at sponsoring. First of all, I feel like so many of us, we judge people. That's what we do. I try not to do that anymore, but sometimes I'll catch myself because I'm like, she's got 3 or 4 kids. She's not going to have time. Or she's my doctor's wife. Why would she want to sell Cincy? They don't need the money, right? Raise your hand if you guys have thought about that. Like, seriously, it's true. So the first thing on my list here to discuss is are not to prejudge people. You don't know when somebody might be lacking something from their life. You don't know when Cincy could be an outlet for someone. So don't judge people. If you're taking notes, you need to put the top of your list. Do not judge others. Cincy is not just getting the next sale. It's not just booking the next party. It's not getting to that next promotion or that title that you have in mind. It is a life-changing business, and you are not in the business of judging others. And so I always tell people, and you'll hear me say it, like, are you walking the walk and talking the talk both? Because it's easy to do one and not the other. When you are a Cincy lifer, and some of you guys watching may not be in this as much as I am, or as much as Sam is, or Jessica, or whatever, but we have a brand new incentive that just started today. And if you want to earn that incentive, you guys are going to have to get out of your box, and you're going to have to do some sponsoring. I know, like with Dina, she texted me and she had over $1,000 in sales in February. So that was amazing. She worked her honey off this last month. You guys are going to have to get out of your box and try new things to get some of those sponsoring points. And then the next thing I want to talk about is, who do you ask? I feel like that's a question we all ask ourselves, like, who do we ask? Or at what point do you ask your customers? And so I just have a general rule of thumb that I personally go by. You can set it how you want to, but if you have someone that places a Cincy order with you every single month, they need to be on your list to join your team. Whether it be just strictly for themselves a discount, or whether it be that they're a busy mom. Like, busy moms are great Cincy consultants because their kids, like I heard Jessica saying, somebody had a cheerleading meeting tonight and Bree's gone to gymnastics, and busy moms are a really good target because they're around other busy moms. And we all know that what one woman has, another woman always wants. And I really feel like that. And Cincy is one of those things that's just contagious. It is. So who do you ask? Busy people are great people. A stay-at-home mom is absolutely somebody that you would want to ask. Another thing about the judging, I'm kind of skipping around, judging people. Like I was saying, you don't know what someone's missing from their life. My best friend for my whole entire 42 years, Actually, I'm only 41. I just tried to put a year on myself. She joined. I took her to Marco Island. Breeze met her. I took her to Marco Island when we earned the top 100. And everybody there, I guess if they asked her once, they asked her a million times, why don't you sell Cincy? Why haven't you joined Cincy yet? Why haven't you joined Cincy yet? Well, guess what? She joined me like 6 months ago, and she's already went on her first retreat with me. And she thought that she was at the time, she's like, I'm just too busy. I'm not interested. I never once asked her. But we were good like that because she was my best friend. She called me one night and she goes, I feel like I'm missing something in my life. I don't feel like I have anything for myself. And that's exactly why she joined. And there's not been a month since then that she hasn't been active with Cincy. So you don't know what somebody's missing. A lot of people that suffer from depression, this could be what brings light to their life. A lot of people, like I was saying you say, well, they've got plenty of money. Why would they want a side gig for Cincy? Again, we do not get to judge those people. When do you ask? Like I was going to backtrack a little bit. So you've got someone that places an order once a month. Maybe it's a $20 order, or maybe it's a $50 order. Why would you not offer them the opportunity? Think about if you would have never offered the opportunity, or if you would have never taken that leap on your own, what would you be missing out on right now? So many people lack the community. And even if it's just doing a Zoom call, since that's kind of all I know, Jessica's been venturing out doing different things with her team. So I feel like I need to probably get something scheduled now that I finally have gotten COVID over with. Being here on the Zoom calls, like this is something that I look forward to, and obviously you guys do too, or you wouldn't be here every Monday. I feel like it's just really part of something more than just being a Cincy consultant. It is a part of a community, and most people will tell you, I joined Cincy for the discount, but I stay because of the people. I could not imagine not having my best friends that I have. I talk to them every single day, and if it wasn't for Cincy, I would have never met these wonderful people. So if you have somebody that orders from you once a month, you need to put them on your dream board, whether it be just for their own discount. Like, how do you say that? Like, how? So I kind of jokingly tease, poke a little bit, I will say, hey, just something simple. As I was saying, you got to keep this simple. Say, hey, you order Cincy from me every month. Do you want to join my team? And let me show you how to place your orders. You only have to place one order every 4 months, and that's it. Then you zip your lips. You don't go to sending links. You don't go to anything else. You need to keep it simple. And at least you're putting your foot in the door, and they might say, no, I do not want to order my own stuff. No. Or they might say, really? Well, what would I get out of it? So that's how I've gotten a lot of my recruits, is just by saying, hey, do you want to join? You only have to order $200 every 4 months, and I will help you put your order in. I have a lady that did that with me. She was one of my very best customers, and she's had several months of having 800 PRV, but she only joined for herself and her own discount. And that's the thing, is when you get them in and they see how this all works, it's hard to contain Cincy and keep it to yourself. They want to tell other people that they're consultants, right? So those are the kind of people. If you have someone that books a party with you, you should always offer the opportunity to them. And I will tell you this: never ever tell your hostess that you're trying to get a $200 party. We want a $500 party. We're going to flip them, then they're going to get shooting star. Offering that host join kit, and I know Jessica, many of you on here offer the host join kit every single time you're closing out a party. And I don't mean by making a post on Facebook. That's great. Facebook's a great platform. I use the heck out of Facebook to get my business. But yesterday I ended up with $800 in sales, and you could ask the girls. I showed them my screenshots. I was so proud of myself. I went into my VIP group. I typed a message that said, drum roll. It said, I have a Cincy order going in. Do you need anything? Question mark. That is all I said. I didn't send the link. I did not send my favorite bars or this, and this. I sent it to 100 people. I had 23 orders and almost $800 in PRV yesterday. And I wasn't really, really happy with my sales this month. They were really good, but I'm used to doing a lot more. But I was down with the ice storm and then I was down with COVID. And so I was like, man, and I was going to settle with what I had. And for some weird reason, I woke up yesterday morning and I was like, I'm going to try for another qualifying order. And ended up with $800. Um, so that simple text brought me $800 in sales. I didn't prejudge anybody. I went through my list, and anyone that had not ordered from me in the last couple of months, that's who I sent a message to. Some of them had not ordered from me in 6 months. One of the messages I got back was from one of my really good customers, and she had not ordered since November. And she said, Donna, I still don't have my smell back. I'm sorry, I'm not using my Scentsy. And it hurt my heart so bad because she loves Scentsy. She was a top buyer from me. And because she doesn't have a smell, she's not using her Scentsy anymore. And it made me so sad. So sending out the messages and you're like, well, how do I get in their inbox, or what exactly do I say? The next time they place an order with you, when you deliver that order, or when you're following up with that order, just say, hey, Sam, I just wanted to tell you that you could join my team and get your own discount, and you only have to place a $200 order every 4 months. Would you be interested? That's it. That's all you have to say. And then you got your foot in your door and you can go further on the conversation. Okay. Another thing is, you cannot have certain recruiting days. You know how we'll talk about a booking blitz, or making 5 contacts a day, or booking, sending out 5 messages to try to book a party. You cannot have a certain day of the week, month, or year, or whatever, however your Cincy calendar looks, where that's the days you're going to recruit. You have to be having those conversations every single day, planting seeds, doing the hard things, and mentioning it. But there's different ways other than just sending a messages for that. But so you guys have got to remember, you can't sit down when you're filling out your calendar and say, okay, Monday the 1st is going to be my recruiting day, or Monday the 8th is going to be my recruiting. No, it's every day. It's the way that you walk. It's the way that you talk. It's the way that you talk about Scentsy. It's the way that when people look at you, they know that you're a Scentsy consultant. It's people knowing how much you love Scentsy and what it does for your family and what it's done for your friends, and how it's blessed you with so many new best friends, and how your kids love it. They come home and they smell the testers, and they take the cute little pictures with the buddies, and it's walking the walk and it's talking the talk. You cannot be a successful consultant and earn this next incentive if you are not the face and body of Scentsy. Okay. You have to know it's not just a one-day thing. This is something that you need to preach and practice every single day in some way, shape, or form, whether it might be one day just sharing something about Scentsy on your Facebook, how it makes you so happy. And sharing and not selling is a really big thing. Showing people how Scentsy actually makes you feel. Like, I'm really sad right now because, and Bree too, I don't know who else on here, but we can't smell anything, and that freaking sucks. I have been so discouraged about that more than anything else. Is that it is something that I love with a dang passion, and I got my scent and warmer of the month in, and I can't smell it, and it just pisses me off. Excuse my language, but I'm so aggravated about that, and I'm concerned. And I told my husband, I was like, how am I going to continue to being a successful Scentsy consultant when I can't smell anything? It makes me so mad. And Bree says she smells cigarette smoke all the time. Like, it puts this weird smell in your nose, and it's just terrible. I'm ready for that part to be over with. I think I'm on day 11 or 12 days of no smell. So Brad came home today, and I was so excited. I was hugging all over, and I was like, please tell me what the house smells like. And he said, it smells like home. So I don't know if that was good or that was bad, but I was like, please tell me what our house smells like. But anyways, that's all of my notes. I wanted to touch on just a couple more things, and then I was going to leave it open. It's a little bit short tonight, but I am a little bit short-winded myself. So, being this incentive that's just started, if you guys want to earn this incentive, and I'm going for level 3, I would love to get another top 50, but you guys have got to start sharing more, about your Scentsy journey in general, I would say. Jessica and Bree, do you guys have anything else that you want to add to it?
I mean, I would just agree 100% with what you said. I found the more that I shared my story and what Scentsy has done for me, it has just changed. I feel like the recruiting prospects, because you're not recruiting, right? And I think that's what we constantly think is like, oh, we're recruiting, we're trying to build our team. It's not about us. And as soon as you can take that out of it and be arrows out and share, like, share some of the moments maybe that have impacted. And my team that are on here, they've heard this. I went on a live right after this happened. I mean, it was probably last October. I was standing in the grocery store and I was swiping my Scentsy card, and the groceries were like 400 plus for what? I don't know. When you're at the grocery store with your husband, if anybody can relate, your bill just goes up. But the point is I remember before Scentsy, there was a day that I would have my grocery list and I would write out, okay, milk, 125. And everything I put in my cart, I would have to write the amount was, because I couldn't go over my budget. And I shared that. I shared that with my team. I shared that in my VIP group, crying, telling the story, because like that's something so private that like you don't want people to know, like, but at the same time, like I knew somebody needed to hear it. I knew there was somebody on the other side of that computer that could relate to exactly what I was going through. And it's just little things. So the more that you guys can share what Scentsy is truly doing for you, just like we talk about sharing how you're using Scentsy, the more that you can talk about how Scentsy is impacting your day-to-day life, everything changes. I mean, everything changes. So, I mean, that would be the biggest thing I can share. I am not a great recruiter. It's something I am working on. It's something that I am, trying to get more in my jam about, just sharing constantly about it, because Donna's absolutely right. You can't pick and choose. A lot of times our recruiting numbers go up during an incentive or during when there's a $15 kit or the $49 kit, and then it just stops. So the real question is, we have the best tools available all the time. We have the opportunity to have other people join for free constantly. So why aren't we constantly talking about that and sharing that? So, I mean, that's just kind of my 2 cents for tonight.
Remembering that it's not a burden, it's a blessing. Why would you
Absolutely.
not want your sisters, your sister-in-law, your cousin, your mom, your best friends to do what you do?
And it's something else that I want to point out too, is a lot of times we don't ask all of these people, including our best customers, because we're so focused on not keeping that PRV. But the reality is that when you have your PRV, you have to think about it like, this is my commission check for today. When I have a new teamie, this is my commission check for tomorrow and the day after and the week after and the month after and the years after, because that one person that might be buying from you has a completely different network that maybe you haven't been able to touch, because maybe they're not a party person, or maybe they have had a party. Well, guess what? As soon as they join and they start rocking and rolling, I mean, it just constantly lifts you up and builds you up. And I mean, constantly I see consultants that are like, yeah, I was going to ask her to join, but I didn't want to lose the PRV. And that's where we go wrong. You want to lose the PRV because you're gaining so much more.
I can tell zero difference in my, like she was just saying. I mean, I try to recruit. I hate to say that word, like you said, sponsor every single customer that I have, and my checks, like she said, are continuing to go up because you're building wide. And but I do remember that first time thinking that I was going to be losing PRV. And that is the
Mhm.
most silliest thing that I could have thought at the time. But that's a normal thought, right? I mean, that's
Mhm.
just something that goes through your mind. But no, not anything.
I just had that happen. I could have ended February with my PRV being 3,200. And I'm like, man, do I really got to flip my cousin? And I'm like, yeah, Jessica, yeah, you absolutely do, because it's so much more. And the other thing too is, oh, I totally lost my train of thought. Um, it will come back to me, I'm sure. Gosh darn it. I don't know what I was going to say. Bree, is there anything you want to add?
So what I want to say is I was that consultant that was totally like, I'm not going to ask this person to join because I'm all about the sales. Like when I first joined Scentsy, not going to lie to you guys, I honestly kind of thought it was a pyramid scheme. Like I didn't understand how it worked, and I listened to everyone and all their negativity they had to say about it. And I was like, I'm never going to recruit anyone. My first recruit was Courtney Leverman, who is now a director underneath me. And she approached me about joining. I probably didn't actually recruit anyone, like didn't have a conversation about joining with anyone. Probably like 9 months into my business, and I was already a director. Like when I say that, I legit got lucky. Janet Raymer's on the call tonight. She's also a director underneath me. I met her because my friend had a party, and Janet contacted me about having a party, and Janet had a fantastic party. She did a great job. I didn't even ask Janet if she wanted to join and become a consultant. And she was like, so I want to join. Like, how do I go about that? Guys, I legit was so up in like my ego about not wanting this PRV to go away. And I thought that was the only way to make money with Scentsy. No, like that is not the only way to make money with Scentsy. And I'm living proof of that. So people, I think, have gotten like upset with me because they're like, oh, she doesn't want me to join her team. No, that's not it. I didn't see it like how it could have become a blessing for me. And that was the reason why. There are still so many times, I've been at this 3.5 years. So I'm a star director. So many times I don't ask people to join because they live close to me. And I'm like, we don't need another consultant on our team. That is wrong. Like I don't even know the actual number, but we probably at least have 15 consultants that are in a 10-mile radius of my house. Guys, I'm still selling like $4,000 in PRV every single month. That did not change just because I recruited someone that lives 1.5 miles away from me. She's doing great. I'm doing great. Like there's enough room for everybody. And I think too many times we get like this little, I don't know, I call it like my ego telling myself like, no, don't recruit them because, you know, that's going to take away from you. It's not. It's going to bless their lives. And when I look around and I think of like how much Scentsy has changed us financially, like with my friends, making me a better person, like it's selfish not to ask people. It honestly is selfish not to ask people. So you really have to think of it as a blessing, and you can't think of it as, you know, like you're going to lose out on things, because at the end of the day, like you can always go out and find new customers. I don't care what anyone says. You can always go out and find new customers. But what you're not going to find is a Janet Raymer. What you're not going to find is a Courtney Leverman. They are a dime a dozen, beyond a dime a dozen, like a penny a million. Okay. So you got to think about that. And you have to treat every single one of your recruits like they are going to be a superstar director underneath you one day. And I'm serious. Like that has really happened to people, that they meet someone, they join, and then they just blow up and they become a huge consultant and you are their sponsor. And that's something that's super, super cool. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I just wanted to share, but I'm really excited about the incentive. And I felt like this topic tonight went perfect about preparing us of how to be successful to earn the incentive.
Does anybody have any questions? I know someone was saying earlier that they have a possible new teamie joining. Do you want to share with us how that happened? Does anybody have any prospects or have a dream board? If you don't have a dream board or a vision board, that is super important in your list of 100 that y'all hate for us to talk about. That list of 100, you need to go down your list of 100. This incentive is just starting, and you need to put a P by possible teamie or a PT for possible teamies. And those need to be the ones you go for first.
So I totally remembered what I was going to say. I had to write it down because I was bound to forget again. When you think about it, you want to think about doing less better. And what that means is sometimes we kill ourselves month after month to have this high PRV just so our commission can be high. But when you're sponsoring and you're consistently sponsoring, you're starting a pattern. You're starting this butterfly effect, because if you're sponsoring, I guarantee you your team is seeing that, and then they're going to sponsor. Whatever you're doing, you have to make sure you're sharing it with your team. I give all of my team all of the tools to my toolbox because I am not successful unless they are successful. But in order for them to be successful, I have to continue to show them the way. So it's so important that when you think about like, man, I want to do 2,000, I want to do 3,000. Oh, but if I do 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 in PRV, I'll get this in commission. But in reality, if you do 2,000, 3,000 in PRV, and then you have a team, it makes up that entire difference. And I have learned that, and my commission checks over the last 6 months have been to the T. I mean, consistent, and it's become something that now our family can rely on because it's that consistent. The other thing I want to touch base on is what Donna mentioned earlier. Never close a party without sharing the join kit. So something I do with every single party I have. So if I have a host, we're already talking about the join kit and the opportunity. I'm planting those seeds. I'm feeling her out. And then at the end of it, I will go over her rewards and I will say, okay, your party did, we'll say 500 in PRV. You can choose to use the join kit, which then means you'll get a $100 commission check. You'll still have $16 in free product, and you'll have 3 half price items plus the extra half price item because I'll give her the perpetual. And then I always add in there, and as you can see, your friends and family are already supporting you doing this. So I always say that because sometimes people need to see it in writing, like, oh, I can make $100 and I can still get all of this and I can start my own business. And you're right. All of these people are already supporting my business. So when you start breaking it down for people, they start to see it in a different way. And you may not get a yes every single time, but you're training yourself to do this. Just like every morning you wake up, you maybe go potty first thing in the morning and you take a shower and you brush your teeth. You're training yourself to do this over and over again. And the more that you can be repetitive and consistent, it's going to be a game changer in your business.
Does anybody have questions or want to tell us a little bit about what your join sponsor conversations are looking like? Anybody?
Well, Donna, you had said, I was telling you guys before everybody jumped on that I might have a new potential teamie. So what happened is my husband, I have home health aides that come to the house for both my daughter and for my husband. Well, it wasn't my husband's regular home health aide that came. It was a new girl. And so, and she's a chatty Kathy. So, and she saw all my Scentsy stuff because I have a cupboard and it's always open. And so she was asking about it, and my husband, I love him dearly. He always is right there that he's like, oh, well, she does this and this and this, and she asked, what the paycheck looks like. He goes, I don't know, I don't ever see it, which was fine. And so he's like, she knows the best way to get your kit if you're interested in joining is host a party, and then if it's X amount of dollars, then you can get it for free. So she was like super interested, and he wasn't really sure all the specifics. So I was thankful that Roxy was here, which is my sponsor. So she kind of filled in the blanks. And so he gave her a catalog and some other things and one of my join pamphlets. So hopefully she'll be back on Wednesday, which is my half day. So hopefully I will get to see her and maybe I can get her to join then.
Anybody else? Or was it just that boring, or y'all just don't even want to talk to us tonight?
Well, if you must know, I'm just kidding.
And I ask everybody. I mean, I throw out, the best way to get this, is if you do a party and we can get you qualified, then you can join and get it discounted, and then you can see what I'm all excited about. So I've only had maybe one person so far join that way, but I'm working. coming out of my comfort zone.
I have a list of people, and every time I have and like Jessica was saying about the kit, and those of you probably already know, but we're not going to assume anything, but it doesn't have to be an actual party somebody has. When you're closing out a bulk order, that's a party. Even though you don't have a hostess, you can put anyone's name in the whole wide world in there to be that hostess. They do not have to have a party with you. So I have a list of people, and how I came up with my list is either they mentioned something to me before, and I'll do I kind of change things up. Like I'll even do a poll in my VIP group, because it's the craziest thing. I have had people multiple times click the yes, or I'm interested, or send me more information just from a poll on Facebook. But then maybe the same person I actually sent a message to, and they either didn't respond or told me no, but then on Facebook they clicked the I'm interested. I was like, what? So changing it and understanding that it's not just a join packet. You put a join packet in a customer's bag is really great and cool, and they're going to love all the stuff in there. But if you're not having a follow-up conversation on giving them a join packet, you completely wasted your time and your materials, because that's the thing. It's just like making samples. And I used to be really big. I don't know, maybe I used to be really, really big on join packets. Like I would make them suckers up. I'd pump them out. I was giving them out left and right, especially when it seemed like during the $15 join month specials. I was doing that a lot. But I wasn't asking the question afterwards, like, what did you think about your, well, we called them blessing packets. I think is what we called them, is a blessing packet. So that's the same thing. Is like you guys might like slip in, when you're sending out your happy mail, just slip in a little piece of paper with your story on it. That will get people asking questions. I was making some labels today on Avery, and I came across one that I had made when I was doing my big in the join packets. I was like, oh, I remember this. There's a picture of my husband and I think in Canada, and it was just a cute a picture and a little bit of story of us about Cincy. But doing the join packets is good and great too, but make sure you're following up with those and having that conversation. And that might be a thing for you guys that struggle on how to get the conversation going, is the next time you give orders out, put a join or a blessing packet in there. And what would it look like? It would have something with your story and your picture on it. It would have maybe a scent circle, some fun confetti. It would have a join brochure from Cincy. I mean, those are available. If you guys are like, you don't feel like you have what you need to make up some cute flyer. I'm not techie. I don't know really how to do all that stuff. I steal most of it from Jessica and Bree. And but just putting that in there, and that will give you 100% reason to have the conversation, because otherwise you've wasted your time and energy and materials. So put those in the next, I'm challenging you guys, the next time you're delivering your orders, put those in there, or put it in your happy mail. And then you better, by golly, send a message or a phone call and say, hey, what'd you think about the blessing packet that I put in your order? Did you have a second to look at it? At least that way, I mean, that will get your foot in the door. That will strike up the conversation, since it's so hard sometimes for us to figure out what to say.
Hey,
I got two
Sam.
more things that I want to share real fast. So the first thing is, I have found that I have had to ask people multiple times. And just because they tell me no does not mean that it's no forever. People's life situations are constantly changing. I mean, look at the world, how much the world has changed in literally a year. Like, it's crazy to think that the world shut down like almost a year ago. And I look at like my life before, and for me, a lot of things have not changed. But for some people, a lot of things have changed. Their husbands have lost their jobs. They've lost their jobs. They're now stuck at home virtual schooling their kids. So if you had a conversation with them last February, guys, I'm guaranteeing you their life is totally different now, and maybe they need that opportunity to join. So anytime I have someone that I'm like, you would be a really good consultant, and I ask them to join and they tell me no, I write their name down. And guess what? Like, I make it a priority to continue to follow up with that person. Because most of the time, those people that I'm asking, they're already buying from me. Like, that's how I know them. So Liz Kuhn is a prime example of that. She's one of my frontline now. She probably told me no for a year. And then she had a major life change. She had her second kid. It was not an easy delivery for her. You know, all of the things were going wrong. And last April, she decided to host a party. And when I gave her the opportunity to join, she could not turn it down because, first of all, it was an $1,800 party. She would have just been, you know, crazy to turn that down, that commission down. But her life had changed from the last time I asked her. So no does not mean forever. Like, seriously, does not mean forever. And the second thing I wanted to quickly talk about is, do you guys know right now what are the minimums that a consultant has to do? Can anyone tell me what they think the minimum requirements are to remain a consultant right now?
200 PRV.
In 3 months, but really it's like for a year.
Yes. So right now, because of the state of the world, that's what I call it. I refuse to call it the COVID pandemic anymore, but it is $200 once every year. You guys, there's no reason that everybody should not be joining right now. Like, and yes, eventually, I at least hope so, the world's going to go back to normal. And then once it does go back to normal, it will be $200 once every 4 months. Your customers, your really good customers, they're probably definitely spending $200 once every 4 months. Probably a good portion, I would say, honestly, probably 60% of my customers are spending $200 every year. So when you think about who to ask, it really should be everyone, especially with these such low minimums. Like, and, you know, I have a lot of people that they're like, well, I'm not going to sell. I'm just going to do it for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not a pushy leader. Come over to the team page so you can see what launches are coming up. You can know, like, be in the know with stuff. But if you want to do it for your sole benefit, I will leave you alone. Like, anyone that I'm a leader to, they know that I don't harass people. I don't got time to harass you, to be quite honest. Like, I legit don't have time. But, you know, some people, like, why shouldn't they do it for themselves? You know, like, they should have that blessing because, you know, they're not making a couple $1,000 paychecks. But what they are making is they're getting a discount for themselves. Plus they're getting free and half price items. So why shouldn't they? It makes sense, like legit sense.
Can I touch on something with that though for sponsoring too? So how many people have started doing, since parties is a whole thing now, how many people are doing party packs? Are people sending out party packs? Okay. Are you guys doing forms? Like, so what I will do is I won't just send out party packs because half the time I don't get any response from that. They're just asking, or they're just taking the free stuff out of it. So what I will do in all of my parties, I will schedule a post for like a Google form to do party packs. And if they sign up, then they get a party pack. You don't just get a party pack. I used to do it too, where I'll have the host send me like 2 or 3 of her like top 2 or 3 like top people who she knows will buy from her for her party. And then so what I do in that Google form, any of my forms, if you guys are sending any forms, always ask on a scale, okay? You do a scale of 0 to 10, and you do, how interested are you of earning extra income? 0 to 10. Any form I send out, my center of the month forms that I do for my Google, for any of my, just any forms that you do, always ask and put something in there, 0 to 10. On a scale of 0 to 10, how interested are you in earning extra income? Doesn't say anything about joining. It says earning extra income. You'd be surprised because 9 out of 10 people are putting at least a 4 or above because times are hard right now. And they're like, earning extra income. Well, it could mean, do you want to host a party and earn your kit? Do you want to join my team? So you can't, again, you can't assume, like Donna said, you can't assume what people are going to do and aren't going to do. I am a busy mom. I'm constantly on the go. And so Google Forms are my life. And so anytime I can add that question into a Google form, it's a huge saver. Again, I don't have the time to sit here and make party packs all day, all night. And I make it intentional to send out party packs. So whenever you guys do any kind of form, always ask, because you don't want to leave money on the table there if somebody can join your team too. So
Hey,
Love that
Sam, will
idea.
you share your golden ticket thing?
Yes. Okay, somebody else talk. Let me mute myself and I will go get one.
I think I forgot to mention, I was talking about writing down the list of people that have either mentioned it or that I thought would be good at it. And what I do is instead of asking that same person, the same people every single time, I like rotate their names out. And every time I have a host join kit available, I'll just shoot them a text. I'll say, no, I've already asked you before. Would you be interested in joining? I have a discount kit available. And I'll just put a check mark by their name. And then I rotate the names out. And I know that sounds, I don't know how that sounds, but, or how it might look for you, but it works for me. But keeping up with who has mentioned, if you're not keeping up with who has mentioned they might want to join your team, like, what are you doing? You've got to have a list. You must have a list. It's like having, even if somebody mentions they want to buy Scentsy, but they never do, I hope you have them on a list. So put your potential new teamies on a list too.
I think it's important to say too, like, I want everyone to understand, like, the people that are recruiting, you know, consistently, it's like, for instance, for me, last year I recruited over 25 people. Okay. The last 2 months I've recruited 0. And that's not because I haven't tried. There will be some months I recruit 5 people. Like, so just because you're going through the season right now, like I am, of getting no's, the minute you stop asking, like, your yes is going to be around the corner. So if you stop asking altogether, guess what? You're never going to get a yes. So just because you get a no, you know, or like I've asked people and they've left me on red. And then you're like, oh, well, I offended them. No, they just didn't know how to respond back to you. So it doesn't mean like you can't ever ask them again. You just might want to ask them in a different way next time.
Okay, I have my golden ticket now. I had to sneak upstairs. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? This phone is just not being okay. Okay. Ugh. All right, so I found this on when we were doing oh my gosh, Jess, remind me again when I swear I saw this. It was the training. It was the 31 days of, it was some leader, it was some kind of trainings that it was like 31 days. Everybody went on a certain day and did like their talk every single, like.
Oh yeah, wasn't it the refocus, refresh, or
Yes.
that,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
So I can't remember who I got it from, but I saw it on the training on there and I was like, I have to do this because this is amazing. And it's worked so far. I've gotten 2, I didn't do this last month, but I did this in January and I got 2 recruits out of it. And so I thought it's amazing. And so again, last month was a bad month, but I'm going to do it in March. So all it is you go on Amazon and you can get, I believe it's like 50 literally golden envelopes. Okay. And it's super cheap, 50 golden envelopes. They're cheaper than like the colored ones. I don't know why, but for some reason they're super cheap. And so I obviously just stamp I have a stamper that has my address. So I'm just stamping all these. And then on Avery, I just made this little label. It says, yay, you received your golden ticket. So that's all it looks like. It's nothing fancy. Literally took that on Google, says golden ticket. And so on the back, because anytime I send something out in the mail, somebody's always telling how many hands it's going through. I have no idea, but I always put a QR code on it. So that way somebody usually has their phone on them. So it says, are you curious about what's inside? Open camera here and scan me. So this is on the back. Okay. And it takes them right to my join link. Okay. So on the front, it's got, you know, yay, you won your golden ticket. Their address will go here. I'll usually throw like a scratch and sniff sticker on here. But what I have inside is just samples, but I don't make wax samples. I usually do felt. So I had mine I also put gold glitter inside here. And if you know me, I bomb my stuff with so much glitter. And so anytime somebody orders from me, they're like, am I going to get bombed with glitter? I was like, do you expect anything less? So there's gold glitter on the inside. And so I have blueberry cheesecake. I just made felt samples, guys. Don't go crazy. Don't be spending all. Do less better, okay? You can, if you want to and have time to make pretty samples, go for it. But by the time you put it in your envelope, you're going to be paying almost $2 for this. I throw usually like a 75-cent stamp or a $1 stamp on this and call it a day, okay? If it's light enough and I can get away with a 50-cent or the forever stamp, I will. But sometimes they catch me and I'll get like a handful back. So keep it simple, guys. Felt sample, okay? Felt sample. My business card, I actually revamped these before Christmas. And so these are in our consultant store and it's simple. You just throw a scratch and sniff sticker. The more they can smell, the more that they'll buy from you guys. So you can make pretty whatever, but why not use something that's more, you can get more scents in their hands. Okay. So I have, I think, inhale and exhale on this one. And then the back just has my information. I keep it simple. My name, it says, I'd love for you to share with your friends and family, my phone number, my Facebook link, and then my website. So that's what I have on my card. And you can get this in the consultant store. So go on your workstation, go to the consultant store. I think it's through like the Vista marketing, all that stuff. Just play around with what they have. Okay. I also have my rack card in there, which I have to, it has my Y on here. And then on the front, it says, you already have what it takes, hashtag come sit with me or come with me, and then scan me with your phone camera here and it'll take you right to my join link. And then again, I have to update this, but it tells you like why join my team. So I am a shooting star earner, a sensational start level 3 earner, monthly sales award, shooting star trainer, all the things. And it says, AKA, I know how to help you. Okay. So you're being intentional with telling, hey, if you join my team, I will be there and help you every step of the way. I'm not just looking for you to join my team. Okay. I will help you. I also made this, which was super fun. So I literally just copied and took pictures of each of the kits and just threw that on the front. It says, I'd love for you to join my Scentsy family. And then it takes them right to my team page. And then the back, it says, obviously everybody has seen this going around. It says, where could a Scentsy business take you? And then it just has all the fun, bright, colorful things. I always put a join brochure in there. And then we have a ton of these. So I threw that in there. So then what I did, and all I did was I took a picture with it and I said, I have 10 golden tickets. Who wants one? I didn't say anything about what was inside. If people asked me what was inside, I said, I don't know. You'll have to find out. Do you want one in the mail? I said absolutely nothing over social media about what it was. I just said, hey, are you interested in a golden ticket? So in that day I had 5. I sent 5 out. And then a couple days later, somebody was like, I want one. So by the end of the month, I had like 3 left and or 4 left. And I was like, I have 4 left. Who's interested? Okay. I make it specific to that month. Obviously this was from January. And so that I have Jade and Jasmine. So be intentional about what you're kind of putting in here. That's why I opened this. That's why I didn't care about opening this one up, because I knew I had January in here. And then I also had in there the January bar special. Okay. But you have to do less better. And so again, February was it was a bad month for me. But now I'm in it, like I'm back in it. So be intentional about what you guys are doing. Always ask. Okay. Anytime you can ask somebody, again, in your Google forms, those are a lifesaver, because you never know who's going to join. It might not be your host, but it might be a friend in the party for that host. So even on that party page, ask on a scale. You can do a poll. You can say on a scale of 0 to 10, are you interested in earning extra income? You didn't tell them, hey, I want you to join my team. You didn't sit there and say, hey, you want to buy a kit. Okay. And then if they say anything more than a 0, then they answered your question. So that's what I have for that.
Love it. I love, 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 love this, because you don't know what you're getting in the mail, which makes it like, hey, you don't know if they're going to be interested, and you're not necessarily directly asking them. If they're into it, they're into it. The one other thing I want to add too is I just had, and we're a little over, so I apologize. It's 9 o'clock. If anybody does MailChimp, I will be happy to share my join email that I created for my customers, because it did lead me to a recruit. That's how my cousin joined. She hosted with me last summer. I offered her the kit. She had no interest. I was on this like rock and roll thing with MailChimp, thanks to Bree, who showed me her ways. And I decided to create a join MailChimp. The entire MailChimp or newsletter was only about joining, and it caught a lot of attention, and I ended up having somebody join. So I will be happy to share that with everybody, so you can kind of just see what it looks like. So, the point of all of this is you never know who's going to join. Doesn't matter, male, woman, full-time moms, stay-at-home moms. I mean, we come in all shapes and sizes, right? And sometimes we prejudge too fast to know. And you can't do that, because some of the most successful people are the people that you think are not going to be great. So I loved this call, and I cannot wait. Sam, in our groups, will you share all your pictures? Because I know a lot of people need visuals, and sometimes it helps with their wording and stuff. So
Yeah, I can do that.
Now, did you say when you send out your golden tickets, I just want to make sure you send, like, do you wait like a couple of days or a week? What do you say when you're doing that follow up from it? What do you say? I might have missed it.
So do you mean like when I follow up from who got them, or?
Yes.
Okay, so well, it all depends on, hold on one second. Don't throw that out. Just leave it alone. Yeah, it's peeling. So what I will do, so it depends on how the mail has been going lately. So some things will be, I kind of gauge it off how people are ordering. Like I'll look how fast things are being like shipped and delivered through like the Scentsy workstation and stuff like that, to kind of gauge how the mail's going. But it's usually I'll follow up with them at the end of that week. They should have it by then. They should have, and then I'll say, hey, you got your golden ticket. You got your golden ticket. Are you interested? And the one time I didn't even follow up with her, and she just literally signed up. And I was like, oh, okay, well, clearly she got what I was talking about. But the one I did follow up, I said, are you interested? And then so I did a party for her, and I flipped it to her.
So you had 2 people join from them, both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you had 100% positive on that. That's awesome.
I sent out 10 and I got 2 to join. So
okay, 10 and 2. Okay, I'm sorry. For some reason I was thinking those were the only 2 you sent. But
so they say for every 10, it's about 3 to 4 people that will say yes. But you kind of have to work at it a little bit. So
awesome. Is this a wrap, Jessica and Bree?
I think so. Does anybody have any other questions before we end this Mix It Up Monday? We'll get links, we'll get pictures, so we'll get that taken care of.
Thanks for being here. Y'all snap a picture real quick and share it on all your social media platforms. So and maybe even invite your customer that maybe want to join, ask them if they wanted to come to the next call. I mean, we're darn sure not going to turn anybody down.
All right, you guys. Well, that's a wrap. I'm going to end it, and I will get the recording up probably tomorrow when maybe I can move better. So have a good night. Thank you, everybody who shared. And I can't wait to see what March brings for all of us. Happy March, you guys. Bye.
Thank you.